Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. A big Olympic welcome to you.
Morning. I was just wondering what we were going to talk about.
I suppose we've got to discuss it to some extent.
I was out watching Stereophonics, sorry.
Were you?
No.
Okay.
I sat in and I watched it.
It was, yes, I watched it.
I saw a bit of it.
Which bit?
I can discuss between the NHS and the teams walking around.
I'm sorry, it's not Radio 4, but thanks anyway for coming.
Teams walking around, I got to Ghana. I thought bedtime.
Oh, I don't think I've managed to Ghana.
Well, it's no disrespect to Ghana. I just thought it's only G.
Well, that means you didn't see the United Kingdom Jimmy Savile jacket.
No.
But that was
when I thought United... don't they come under Great Britain?
No, they come last, darling, because it's our manor.
Oh, well, that's it, you see.
Is that right?
I weren't going to wait that long, so I didn't see David Beckham.
Don't. I actually feel ill with lust every time you say that. I know it's cheap, Frank, but I couldn't bear it. He's never looked that amazing.
I'll get it.
On the boat?
He hasn't had his mouth straightened.
He did look good on the boat.
I always think...
I don't know if he got his good side.
He looks so hot.
Please don't talk about his collapsed mouth again.
The crooked mouth, in case you don't know, is something that... it's that thing that gives us all hope, and it's why men can love him as well. Because you think, he's a good-looking bloke, but the mouth's gone, hasn't he?
Did you see the bit where he was on the boat holding the fort?
Yes, I did!
Did you hear it that they said there's no one more qualified than David Beckham to be doing this? I thought they were going to add, he's got all his health and safety certificates and he's a registered first aider. There's no one more qualified to carry a torch
when
on a
they
boat.
cut to a shot of a man in a puffer jacket actually steering the boat for him underneath. That ruined the Bond thing for me.
Did that happen?
Yes.
Oh, I never saw that.
But look, generally, what was... Because we haven't even discussed it. What was our general view of the opening ceremony?
Well... Initially, I was worried, Frank, I'm not going to lie. I saw an actor in a scarecrow costume adjusting himself. That was a 5'2". That concerned me.
Well, hold on. Let's not go before our horse to market. When I put it on, there was a band playing, a man in a plaid shirt, and he actually said the line, something as simple as rock and roll can save us all. And I thought, this better not be it. They were jumping up. They were young lads, like student. I don't know who they were.
I saw those
that
students.
Band?
No idea.
They're probably a famous band, but I didn't know them. And I thought, if he finishes and then the team start marching out with the flags, it's going to be the biggest international disgrace of all time.
And Sue Barker's jacket as well.
I never saw that. Can I just clarify that I was on a long-haul flight until about 8 or 9 p.m. last night, so I got into a hotel to watch a bit of it. So all of the early stuff, feel free to recount to me. What was Sue Barker's jacket like?
It was raspberries.
It was grass. It was all grass.
Oh, was it?
She suddenly emerged out of one of the small hillsides to our surprise.
Like a territorial army advert or something, just her eyes.
It was fabulous.
Frank, I wish she had. I would have loved that.
That would be great.
My general view, there is a place in the West Midlands called the Black Country Museum, where you go and you learn a little bit about local heritage, and there's some people walking around in sort of knocked up 19th century outfits and stuff. And it's an interesting place if you're interested, but you wouldn't want to be there. No man ever wished it longer, as Samuel Johnson said of Milton's Paradise Lost. And I thought... generally speaking, it was a bit local history museum.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I thought it was massive.
Yeah. No, I got to love... I grew, Frank. I grew to love... Initially, Kenneth Branagh, that worried me as well.
Well, I'll tell you what worried me, because Bradley Wiggins came out, and then Kenneth Branagh came out as Isambard Brunel, and I thought, is this going to be the Sideburns Olympics?
What about when they started doing all dancing as well, the men in the Victorian frock coats? That was a bit alarming. They started doing rave moves.
I thought, I've got nothing against Isambard Brunel at all, but I thought it was a little bit Isambard Brunel heavy, the opening ceremony.
Did you?
Yeah.
I like the fact that we're clarifying that on Absolute Radio, that you've got nothing against Isambard Brunel.
No, I mean, he's a man of a great stature, obviously. Well, we all would be in one of those hats.
Indeed.
Well, Frank, Paul Jakubowski has tweeted us, nice to see one of Frank's favourites, the often-mentioned Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Do I mention him a lot? Maybe I do. I like an iron
He's almost
bridge.
a friend of the show.
Did they call him Izzy, his friends, do you think? It's like in Izzy Sutty, did they call him Izzy? Izzy Brunel's coming over. Because if he'd have been called Izzy Sooty, it would have been particularly apt during the Industrial
Yes.
Revolution. Izzy Sooty? Of course he is. He's a mainstay of the Industrial Revolution. That's how it would have gone. If there'd been any sort of musical patter about it. By the way, if you want to text us, we're on 8 12 15.
Very slick, that.
You can follow us on Twitter using @Frank on Absolute.
Wow.
Absolutely rolling along there with it. So,
what did you think of Danny Boyle kicking off with "Oh Danny Boy"? That was quite self-referential.
I hadn't really noticed that.
Oh, I saw what he was doing there.
Can I say, before we go any further, I think we should talk more about this festival, but the whole thing, my view of it is going to be coloured, because very, very near the beginning, they had a shot of some people singing on the Giant's Causeway, some children singing.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to my girlfriend, Kath, I said, oh, we've been there. We went there after the wedding. She said, it wasn't me. Oh! It took the hedge off. I took the hedge off it as well. Took the hedge off the back of the set. I was so shocked. It did colour things somewhat after that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Right, can we do more Olympics? Because I love it. I actually loved it.
Did you love it?
It melted my cynical, bitter, black, cold-fashioned heart. And I loved it.
I think that's great to
I
hear.
tell you what, Frank, I want to meet the man in the meeting who said, I know, why don't we get the Queen to parachute down with James Bond? Because he's a genius.
Never saw that bit either. It sounds good.
It was great.
Sounds great.
It was brilliant.
It was the actual
the Queen
Queen.
actually did
The
a
real
line.
Queen.
She did a line. The Queen has
Yeah.
basically been in a Bond film.
That's cool.
The Queen said, "Good evening, Mr. Bond." I mean,
That
it was
is cool.
It was
I
great.
don't know.
Of course, by that stage, I was already thinking, "What's your cleaners, love?" He's always on the lookout for
Oh, yeah, Frank.
rustling cleaners.
Well, you've had previous.
Yeah, David. Can I say Daniel Craig? He took my cleaner away. In case you don't listen to this programme regularly. And there was we couldn't believe that the Queen had done a line. I don't think anything's ever happened like that in the history of the royal family. From the very, very
Great
I
booking.
think
Great talent booking.
I think
Yeah, she got equity minimum, I
I
believe.
think William the Conqueror did a 2-inch section on the Bayeux Tapestry. That's the closest it's ever come. But we were so amazed, and then they got into the helicopter. The Queen actually spoke, and then of course my girlfriend says, "Oh, there's our house," and of course it's always the biggest thing, the most exciting thing you ever see on telly is your own house.
Yeah.
Nothing like it. You can keep your Google Earth.
So it was all downhill for you from there on in, was it?
I thought the whole thing was.
Oh.
It had brilliant bits in it, and then bits,
What bits
when
did
I
you
thought,
like, then?
I thought, oh, this is a bit junior
Oh, I
school
already know
play.
a bit that I think you would have liked.
What was that?
Because, as I say, I started watching around the NHS bit
Yes.
quite soon after that. Jetpack. Did
There
you
was
see
a jetpack.
Yeah.
Were they on
Flew up
strings, or were they real jetpacks?
I've no idea,
I
but-
thought I saw strings.
So I was looking at thinking, Frank's punching the air now because there's a jetpack on the telly.
And also, they hadn't tied it in with the James Bond thing, of course. It was the
No.
first place I ever saw the jetpack.
Hey, the ABFC had a good seat, didn't he?
He was right
He
behind.
was right behind the Queen in her peach sateen.
That was his big chance to make a speech about the way society has ignored the poor and stuff. I didn't do it. Just joined in with everybody else. I'm generally speaking, I didn't enjoy it. I'm going to be straight.
Really? Oh,
No,
Frank.
I thought it was like a school play.
No, Frank.
I'm sorry, but
Because
it
I
didn't work.
liked that it
What
wasn't
about
much...
the pop music bit with the texting and all that?
No, that
and
was
the
a bit-
terrible dancing.
That
Oh,
was
I
a
like
bit
that.
Teenagers in Littlewoods ad.
I thought
agree.
it was a bit Danny thinking we need another 10 minutes here. Let's just jump about to some 70s hits like a school
Just
disco.
70s. Dizzy Rascal came out and
Oh,
did a bit.
Mr. Rascal.
Dizzy.
Couldn't cope with any of that. It was
Oh, I like that. And I really like the...
I suppose you preferred Mike Oldfield in his sateen suit on his own.
There's an old show business saying, don't let a heterosexual do a dance routine. And that's it. Consequently, it felt like it had been done by a heterosexual. It was a bit... Oh,
I like the pogoing punks, you
and
know.
the villagers, the rustic villagers walking about.
The brutal uprooting of rural Britain, are you referring
Yeah,
to?
but you see, anyone who's been to the countryside knows that that's a good thing. So I'm not going to bemoan the Industrial Revolution. We wouldn't have got the Olympics if we were still a rural society, were we? Would we?
No.
Were we?
Well, it wasn't in the middle of nowhere, was it? Like Mitt Romney's Olympics. Slam from Cameron.
What
You know?
about Mr. Bean, Frank?
Mr. Bean doing the same routine he's been doing for 40
Frank?
years.
Don't ruin my Olympics.
On an arguably bigger stage,
I
actually.
loved it.
He's massive, isn't he?
Sorry.
And did you see Bex on the boat? I know we keep discussing it, but I can't get it out of my head.
I told you I went to bed at Ghana. I didn't see that.
I went to bed. I think I went to bed after certain countries came out, but I might have dreamed. Was there a massive Chinese guy on the
He
walkabout?
was in the last Olympics, 7 foot, the
Was
7
he?
foot
I
China
didn't
man.
see him in the
He's a
last-
big man in England, in
Did you
China.
say 7 foot China man?
In China.
David Essex once said that on this show.
People living in China.
Hey, Frank, do you know who I felt sorry for was France? Because it was like they were smiling at an ex's wedding. It's the face I've done at an ex's wedding. They didn't want to be there.
No, but
They hate us.
my problem was it was just too right on. I thought it was.
It was a celebration of modern Britain, Frank.
Yeah, but it was painfully. But let's get this right. Let's get it politically. I mean, wouldn't it have been brilliant if at the end of the NHS thing,
Oh no, he's going to go all Tory now. I can't bear it.
there'd been like a Benny Hill section, and the nurses had been chased off by men squeezing their bottoms, and they played Benny Hill. One of the great things that people know about this country.
Yeah.
But oh no, it had to be. I cried during the NHS thing.
Did you?
And I said one time I got emotional, and I said to Kath next to me, I said, that for all our military achievements and that, this is what this country should be most proud of, the NHS.
Yeah, but then there was a man in a black cloak over the beds, which I didn't like. What was that?
And then Kath said to me, well, you go private most of the time. I said, no, you have to spoil everything. Why do people do that? So, no. There used to be a bloke who managed the Comedy Store, and every now and again somebody would walk off stage amidst massive applause at the end of their act, and he'd turn and say, "Didn't work for me." That was me last night.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Now, Frank, you went to bed at Ghana,
Yes.
as we all know, so you didn't make it through.
I didn't see the flame.
Well, I saw the flame, the cauldron. That was amazing.
To be honest, if I see the flame again, it'll be too soon. I've seen the flames. It's been on the news every day for the last hour.
No, this flame was good, because there was lots of them. There was enough flames. And
Enough flame.
yes. And it was very dramatic.
I'm going to stop you watching that dizzy rascal.
He's such a rascal, I love him. And
I'm a fan of Dizzy. I like Dizzy.
do you?
Yeah.
Okay, we all know where we stand on Dizzy now.
Okay, text in 812 yes
I
or
didn't
no on
like
Dizzy.
when Bex gave the handover to Sir Stephen Redgrave.
Yes.
I didn't like, there was a shot of Stephen Redgrave running up to the stadium, and he had a white tracksuit. I didn't like his little bottom. It made me feel a bit illy, that.
Was it a little bottom?
It was perfectly pleasant, the bottom,
Yeah.
but it was fixated on it for
But,
too long.
he does a sitting down sport, so he has no need for a... Fair enough to him.
But Frank,
He'll have good triceps, but...
that means, given that you went to bed at Ghana, you will have missed the Paul McCartney experience.
Yeah, I missed that.
And in fact, 961 says, "Hi Frank, love the whole theatre experience, but McCartney, why? His voice seemed off tune. It should have finished with Queen, We Are the Champions, but it's a real people show." That's James from Watford.
I'm glad it didn't finish with that.
Are you?
Queen, if there was a cover of Queen with "We Are the Happy with a Podium Finish," then maybe. But "We Are the Champions" isn't really representative.
I remember when everyone hated Queen, and then Freddie Mercury died, and everyone started liking him. Right. And I liked that period before he died. He was alive, which is a good thing, because he's a fellow human being.
Yeah.
And secondly, people were seeing things as they correctly are. That Queen are to rock music what Shawaddy Waddy are to rock and roll music. Okay, there's my speech done.
I think I
So I'm
probably
glad.
prefer Shawaddy
And also, I
Waddy.
don't like songs that are written in order to be over sporting compilations on the telly.
Yeah.
Let me entertain you.
Mm-hmm.
Deliberately written, so they thought, I'll use this. We'll get a few bob out of this.
You think?
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, Frank, though, he did Hey Jude. He divided the crowd up into, well, as he called it, fellas and ladies. He said, "Now the fellas." Oh, I
Well,
didn't
he's
like
from
that.
the 60s, to be fair to him. I can't. I'm glad I didn't see him if he was bad, because I love Paul McCartney. And we all have a bad night.
Oh, yeah.
That's him and Danny Boyle.
Oh, no.
Frank.
Anyway,
I feel like we ought to
I hate that
congratulate
you hate
the
the
people that took
Olympics.
part. I feel like that's...
Feel like we congratulate the
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who took
some
part.
of them were volunteers. It was a big night for them. You don't want to be slagging them off in your powerful media position, do you?
All I'm saying, most people seem to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you like to be a
Didn't work
dissenting
for
voice.
me. No, I
Right,
don't
yeah.
like to be a dissenting voice. I don't want to come in here and lie to my people.
Oh, okay.
It
Well,
was
I loved it.
good.
Good.
Can we move on from it now? Because it's making me feel
Why
ill.
is it a row? Why is it like a relationship and we've had a row? I don't like it. Can we move
Because
on?
I feel I'm being a bad guy for not liking them.
And I also think we should say that the costumes looked very well purchased to me.
Did they?
Yeah, I know the person whose job it was to purchase the
No,
costumes.
I'm afraid I've got one thing to say. When they were doing the spooky bit, Frank, and they had all black cloaks on, that reminded me of when you're on the ghost train and you see a flash of white Reebok trainer under the black cloak and everything's ruined.
Well, all I can say is, if it wasn't for Trevor Nelson's incisive voiceover, I wouldn't have known what was going on.
He had a bad night, Trevor.
What about Lord Nelson?
Yeah,
Where was Lord Nelson? We had Trevor Nelson, but not Lord Nelson. And that, to me, sums up what was wrong with Danny Boyle's opening ceremony. Good night. Speaking of sport, I had a bit of I received an honour myself this week. I don't know if you're aware of the fact, but the scouting movement, they have a thing called the birthday badges, which is a bit like the birthday honours system that the
Lovely.
Queen uses.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and you're given, if you've done anything special in a particular field, which obviously a lot of scouts have,
Yes.
then you get a plaque, actually. And I was because I learned to swim this year in my dotage.
I was there.
I was presented with their swimming award for this year.
Oh,
nice.
lovely, Frank.
Now I thought it was going to be a material badge that I could put on my trunks.
Oh,
It's a wall plaque.
Oh.
I
Lovely.
couldn't swim in that. I looked like I had a big soccer on me back for the car window. But they assured me they will send me a badge. But I got a necker.
Did you?
Oh, a
Yeah.
neckerchief.
Yeah.
Did you get a woggle?
They call it a necker. Oh, they don't use a woggle. See,
Oh.
that's it. People are out of date with the scout movement.
I love a woggle, Frank.
I'm with
No,
Emily
no,
on this.
they're
I honestly
post.
thought you'd be after a woggle.
They're post-woggle now.
No woggle.
Yeah, they use a friendship knot, which is it's a sort of it looks. It's one thing that hasn't changed. They can still do a good knot.
Oh, yeah,
Scouts
more
movement.
than one, I should think.
Yes, like a square knot. And apparently, when they're at a jamboree, when they meet at a jamboree, they do each other's friendship knots. Oh, it's like public school, but clean.
Can I just say, Frank, I think, in that sort of American Civil War chic, I think that would go well on you. With a neckerchief just worn, for example, with what you're wearing today. With the denim.
Well, I mean, I got to keep it's red, white, and blue with a Union
Lovely.
Jack on the back and knots at the front and just to a point at the back. I thought when I put it on, I looked in the mirror.
Achy breaky heart.
You know, when you're on British Airways and you think, why do they have the old stewardess? Why don't they just stick with the young beauties? And why is that woman still working for them? That's what I look like. I look like the old stewardess.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah, I didn't feel good about it.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So I got my swimming badge from the Scouts.
Lovely.
It was nice. They were, nice. Let's call them young people.
And when the badge comes, will you put it on your trunks?
Oh, you betcha.
Have you got some trunks that...
What do you think? I just swim au natural?
I mean, are you a trunks man or like a skimpy Speedos kind of... What's the
What
deal?
are you calling trunks? I mean, I'm not a baggies man.
You're not a
Well, I'm
board
a baggies
shorts.
man. I'm not those people that swim in baggy shorts.
Right.
No.
No.
Or the Hawaiian print. He's not a Hawaiian print type.
I'll wear a tight trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen him in the tight
Yeah,
trunk.
leave it. Yeah.
No, I discussed it with Adrian Charles. We were both, when we went to watch the swim.
You think you've seen me, but actually that was just body paint.
I actually thought you looked fabulous.
Thank you very much. The Guardian.
Not much body fat at all, and none.
So, Yeah, so I found out all sorts of things about the Scouts I didn't know. I didn't know that girls can join the Scouts. They don't have to be in the guides.
Oh, I wish I'd known that. I'd have cleaned up. I'd have loved that.
Yeah, and
the old brownies.
You've probably got a
Terrible.
badge for cleaning up.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked about my child, Boz. I said, went out long before he could join it. When he's 6-year-old,
What do they say?
You can be, you can choose. You can be a beaver or a rainbow.
Oh, I know what I'd go for.
I said it's not a good. It's not a good combo, is it? The beaver and the rainbow. The sort of rodent versus meteorological phenomenon. I mean, you need two similar things.
I
shouldn't
agree.
they?
What about a badger?
Beaver and badger.
Yeah, they could have had that.
Exactly.
But they. So the beavers are I think beavers are boys.
Yeah.
And they obviously haven't got their double entendre badge. Beavers are boys and the girls are rainbows. But I can't work it out. Just couldn't work that out at all. As long as you got your necker.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But they were lovely. It did make me feel there is a hope for the future of this country when I met these Scouts. They were nice, young, polite, bright.
Not like
people.
those miscreants we discussed that tried to snatch the torch.
Not like
young,
those, no.
Good
no.
young fellas.
No.
No, I
ladies,
believe the
lasses.
Olympics has brought out both the best and the worst of this country. And we've only seen the tips of the iceberg so far.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, we've had... People are still sending texts in.
Oh, yeah?
Someone's asked... It's a very Olympics-based, Frank.
Go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone's corrected me. Danny Boy last night was to do with Irish sports, as was Bread of Heaven, not Danny Boyle.
No, Bread of Heaven to do with Welsh sports, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were just
He's put,
correcting
as
me.
was Bread of Heaven, etc., hasn't he?
Oh, I
Yeah.
see, yeah.
You know, there's a temptation for the listener to correct a thing that we've said. It's
I
not
like
that
that.
attractive.
I like it. I don't want to persist in error.
Occasionally they do it and they're wrong. It's unnecessary
No,
sometimes.
I like the reader keeping us, the listener keeping us on our toes like that. I don't want to be saying wrong things and go. I don't want to leave the studio with the wrong thing still in my heart.
I think it was quite obvious that Emily was saying that tongue-in-cheek, though.
Obvious to who?
To me, and should have been to this dude, 192, let's call him.
Well, I think I'm saying to 192, thank you for joining in. Because if Emily had been wrong about that, she'd now be right about it, and that's down to you. You'd be a very good person to be in the hierarchy of the Roman Catholic Church.
Someone's
See,
texted.
that could have set him off there on a career route that he
Yeah.
otherwise wouldn't have. Sorry, carry
Lovely
on.
career
Karen has
advice.
texted saying St John's Ambulance starts 5 to 10-year-olds as badgers. Maybe that's why the Cubs haven't got badgers, because there'd be too much confusion
I
with
don't
St
want
John's
to be in the
Ambulance.
St John's Ambulance.
No.
To me, if you call yourself St John's Ambulance, get an ambulance. Don't get a shoulder bag.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a text saying if Danny Boyle wanted to show the British humour last night, then he should have employed Mr Methane to light the Olympic flame.
That would have been exactly the perfect summary. In case you don't know, Mr Methane is a man who breaks wind professionally. And that would have exactly summed up the British humour.
Whereas the rest of us are quite amateurish, aren't we? He breaks wind professionally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got in trouble with Phil Spector for using him. Let's not go into that.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yes.
but Phil Spector's not going to cause much trouble at the moment, let's face it.
Frank, we've had an email in, and I love an email me.
I love any contact from the outside world.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but let's go with it.
I need lifting
See,
up.
it's him being bad-tempered. Frank accused me of being grumpy this morning.
I feel a bit flat this morning. I knew
You feel a bit Michael Flatley.
I should have gone on Albania. I knew that, and I lingered till
You
Ghana.
stayed till Ghana.
Yeah, I should have just gone when I felt like it.
Frank. If Frank accused me of being a bit grumpy, just because I accused Sarah of being a liar, I did call her a liar.
She called
Really loudly.
our assistant a liar to her face.
Yeah,
And
Then you
better
kept
than behind her
pointing
back.
at me.
Then you had a go at me about. Did you ever go at me about? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's blanket bombing.
It's not.
It is. It's
Anyway,
Okay, let's move on and start afresh.
okay.
we're going to read an email. Is that what you're about to do?
This is from Kelly. She says, "Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, following on from TV shows that were only commissioned for their title, because we've discussed this a lot.
Yes,
haven't
we talked about Aid in Britain was only made because it sounded like Made in Britain,
Yeah.
for example.
There are some films where the title may be causing harm to revenue of the film, as it tells the entire story in the title itself, so you don't even need to see the film.
Yeah.
For example, We Bought a Zoo.
Yeah.
Can you guess what happens?
Is that a film?
Yeah, We
Yes.
Bought a Zoo is a film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it about?
I've seen trails for it. I've seen trails for it and had exactly that thought. She's right. Yeah, We Bought a Zoo. I watched on...
What happens then in the trails? Can we afford it? I don't know, honey.
No, you just see some people who've got a zoo.
This is not a film that culminates in them buying the zoo. Surely they buy the zoo early on and then it's their adventures thereafter.
I think it is that. I think it's they buy the zoo and then, guess what? They can't keep all the animals in it and,
Well, Kelly goes on to say, on the other hand, some film titles are misleading, such as Mission Impossible. As far as I'm aware, he completes every mission he gets.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Kelly?
Some of them are misleading.
Well, I watched the film on the way to Montreal and it was called Man on a Ledge. Guess what? There's a man on a ledge all the way through it.
That's fair enough.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but
Is he standing on a ledge,
Yep.
as in the kind of man who calls Frank a ledge? Frank's a ledge. That's what people in the street call Frank.
yeah, he's standing on
Standing
a
on Frank's
ledge.
skinny shoulders.
Do gymnastics. Yeah.
Yeah, what about The Great Escape? Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such a spoiler alert.
Yeah, we don't want to know, do
And
we?
also, don't say it's great, because then I know it works.
The Great Attempted Escape is what it should become. We'll see how it goes in brackets.
But really, you could take that another way of going, if you like escape films, this is the best of them, because this is The Great Escape. It's a really
But don't
good
call
film.
it an
but-
escape film. Call it an attempted escape film.
No, Frank,
otherwise-
you're right. Or just Men in Prison.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Or-
That Guy Ritchie film, Snatch, completely misleading. What I thought it was about.
I don't want to know what you thought it was
I thought
about.
it was
I
about
don't
shoplifting.
want to know.
You people, you drag me down. I have often thought.
Yeah.
Well, how often have I thought it? 4 times I've
Okay.
thought. Titanic. Because it's called Titanic, I went to see that and I think, where's the iceberg? I'm thinking that 10 minutes in, where's the iceberg?
Yeah.
If it had been called, let's say, Atlantic Crossing,
Oh, yeah.
and then what would have been a brilliant ending? You know, with the bit where she lets go of Leo.
Of Jack.
They've been holding on to this bit of wood, haven't they, to keep them going or whatever, to keep them alive, Kate and Leo. And he slips away, and you think, what it should have done then is the camera pans away, helicopter shot, and what she's holding on to is a big sign that says Titanic. And that's the first time he gives away the name of the ship.
boat. Yeah.
Then you'd have watched the whole thing thinking, well, then, this might be all right, yeah. Think this won't be too bad. What are you looking at me like that for? Can I say, by the way, in case anyone thinks I've been a bit critical of Danny Boyle this morning and his efforts, I do absolutely pay tribute to him, to the fact that he looked at the Olympic symbol and thought, I'm not going to incorporate this in any way into the opening ceremony. And I have massive respect. It's been completely sidelined. That was brilliant. What was we talking about? Films that give away the...
Yeah, we're talking about
we've
spoiler
had some
alerts in
textings.
titles.
I could tell you so many film titles that give away what the film's going to be like, but they're not titles I can say on Breakfast Radio.
Frank, we've had Robin Kingswood, spoiler alert, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Spot on, Rob.
So you're given to... Yeah.
And we've also had John in Oldham saying the worst title for spoiling a film is Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
But
Crime and location.
I've had a radical idea here. I think the addition in the film title of a question mark would remedy this entirely.
Oh.
Very
The
good
Great
point.
Escape,
Oh, you're
question mark. Murder on the Orient Express, question mark.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, question mark.
The Mummy Returns, question mark.
Exactly. It's done, isn't it? I fixed it single-handedly at a stroke.
All About Eve, Frank, I didn't like either. Tell me what it's all about, why don't you?
Well, look, if our listeners have got any of these, I'd love to hear.
Snakes on a plane's just come in.
Snakes on a plane?
Yeah.
Just come in.
Just come
Oh, we
in.
better get some security out there on the runway.
Get G4S on it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215 and you can tweet us on something that my producer at some point is going to hand. She's done it. She's done it on my prompting, using @Frank on Absolute. You don't expect me to remember this, do you? Do you know how old I am?
It now, though, @Frank on Absolute. We've done that.
Yes.
Even I know your Twitter handle.
Our Twitter handle, surely.
yeah.
Don't lay this on me.
Mine is @Frank on Absolute, isn't it?
Well, it is. If people wanted to contact you now, that's where they'd go.
Oh, God, don't encourage them to start attacking me by Twitter.
Yeah.
You've got one as well, haven't you? You've got your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any insulters just get blocked.
Do they?
Deal with it. Frank.
Yeah, we don't know haters.
No, Frank, haters gone hate.
Yeah. Player's going to play, yeah?
Yes. We were talking about spoiler alerts. Well, we
Yes.
were talking about films where they give the title away. You cited me. I say they're very
They
fine.
give the plot away.
Give
with the
I'm
title.
sorry, give the plot away. Okay. Oh, God, he's grumpy this morning.
I mean, let's get let's get it right if we're going to say it at all.
Okay. I was going to say you cited the very good example, but I'm rescinding that compliment now. No, you
Okay.
did, of The Great Escape.
Yes.
Perfect example. I also feel The Breakup, which is a rom-com with Jennifer Aniston. They started arguing, and 11 minutes into that film, I just thought, well, I may as well just leave.
Yeah.
Because I know how this is going to turn out.
When did she do that? Was that recent?
Yeah, with Vince Vaughn.
See, you don't want it. How would you like to be her agent when you say, "Oh, we've got this new film script for you. What's it called?" Don't bring that up again. Don't
No.
ever bring that up. She still got the part in, or has it moved the part in?
I'm unfamiliar with the parting.
You
What do
know the Jennifer Aniston famous part.
Oh, what? Yeah, the Rachel, the sort of haircut there.
Has that gone?
She brings it out
She's
from time
been
to time.
associated with parting, if you think about it, her entire career.
A lot of
A bit
parties.
like Mr. Methane. Oh no, sorry, sorry, I misread that.
Frank, Phil
I'll
has
kill that typist.
Frank, Phil has emailed in. He says, "Okay, this isn't a film, but I'm watching TV series Flashpoint currently on Sky. I switched to the channel to watch an episode, and the programming guide said words along the lines of a team member gets killed defusing a bomb.
Oh no.
Okay, I presume they got killed at the beginning, and the program was about who did it. But the whole point of the episode was whether the person stuck defusing the bomb would die or not."
I remember an inexperienced link person on West Midlands television when I was a kid. Me and my dad had stayed up to watch the football, avoiding all scores.
Oh, no.
And the person that linked into it said, and now we've got Notts Forest. It's a European Cup game, and he said, can't tell you what the score, of course, but I can say Notts Forest did rather well. Oh, God, I thought my old man was going to kill the whole family and then turn the gun on himself. He went absolutely ballistic.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I see that David Cameron has said that the opening ceremony has proved that Britain can deliver. One thing this country cannot do is deliver. You try, for example, buying a new fridge. You stay in all day Tuesday, and eventually you'll get a call saying, "Oh, they can't come today. They're going to have to come on Thursday." What, morning or afternoon? We can't say. And when they come, it'll be the wrong fridge. There'll be a piece missing from it, and they'll take a piece out of your wall as they bring it into the house. So don't tell me that we can deliver. That's what we can't do.
Do you think he's just doing a version of the old butcher's joke? Do you deliver? Yeah, we deliver. We do sausages.
I wish he
Do you
would
think
do
he's
that.
saying,
If he'd have done that, that would have been brilliant.
If you want offal, come to Britain.
Yeah.
It's a good strap line.
Frank, 729 The Dam Busters.
The Dam Busters, yeah. Where were they?
Exactly.
Well, I watched the film on the way back from Montreal called Safe
Oh, sorry,
House.
I thought you meant where were they in the opening ceremony?
Did you really?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Dam Busters.
No, that's
That was a
spoiler
bit-
alert.
It's the film. Spoilers.
That would have
That's a
been
movie
brilliant.
title
Yes.
that gives the plot away.
It
And-
certainly does.
Also, Scott Newby has An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Everything. Nationality, location, problem.
Yeah. But this film, Safe House, was a thriller, and they weren't in the safe house. But wouldn't it have been nice if actually it had just been like a 90-minute film about a bloke getting a burglar alarm fitted? Just seeing this guy choosing screwdrivers.
It would have been your kind of film,
And
wouldn't it?
the film The Day After Tomorrow could just be about someone with very good time management. Just just flicking through his Filofax.
Filofax. I hope you all got that.
Well, there is
Casually thrown in reference to
Yes.
Filofax.
There was a film called Filofax, which I have to say was
there
one of my
really?
favourite films ever made. It's my era. Frank, I've got something of a confession to make, actually.
Well, let's get comfortable.
Uh-oh.
Light the fire, gather round. Now, I've been going to a lot of parties recently, a lot of soirees. I'm out there,
Are you a socialite?
very much so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
I thought you were going to tell me you were one of the men in top hats last night.
Frank, can you imagine if they'd have closed up on my... It would be me.
Oh, that would have...
Imagine if I was Brunel. Oh, that would have been good.
I always thought you looked better blonde.
But no, I've been breaking out some of the old moves from my repertoire. Now,
Is this a dating story?
I've gone really hot.
no, I
You know when
mean,
you suddenly go hot and a bit sick?
I've been shaking my stuff on the dance floor. That's what I mean.
Oh, dancing.
Yes, dancing.
Tiger feet?
I'm not going to...
No, I always walk like this. Right, okay.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I thought my dancing days were over.
Well, I did.
Yeah, thank you very much. However, I've discovered... No, I've still got it, Frank. The Beyonce moves. I've got a little bit of junk in the trunk, and this comes in useful.
Right.
Because I can do that Crazy in Love dance. I kept asking the DJ, I said, play that song again. Because I knew that's where I come into my own when I do that.
Oh, you see.
I'm doing it for you now. Don't say, oh, you see, and look like a doctor about to give me a terrible
No,
prognosis.
I mean, respect to you that you can dance to something that up to date. I know the sequence for Tragedy by Steps, and never has a song title been more apt. I don't dance. Frank don't dance.
Does Frank don't dance?
Frank don't dance. No,
Oh, Frank, I'm going to make you dance. Wouldn't
No.
you even dance with me?
But you're going to make me dance. What, are you going to get out a revolver and fire at my feet like an
I
old cowboy?
might.
No, dancing is...
No, Frank, I love it. I went to Mimi, my niece's party recently. It was her 11th, and she'd gone a bit smoke machine and raves and DJs.
Oh, excellent.
11?
Yes.
Glow sticks.
It was like being back at the Hacienda. I loved it. I was in my own little world, throwing my shapes. Catch a fish, reel it in. Did that.
Oh, yeah. Big fish, little fish, cardboard box.
Stack the boxes.
Excellent.
Cleaning out the sock drawer, I do. Did them all.
I didn't
But
know
you
about
know what I
cleaning out the
loved?
sock drawer.
9:45 p.m. Lights come on. Okay, everyone out. Everyone just goes. No one lingers around. It's not like adult parties
Brilliant.
where they
That's
hang
brilliant.
around for 2 hours.
That's what I'm like with visitors at our flat. If people come round now, when they arrive, I put a chess clock on the table.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Oh, hold on. Let's not lest we forget. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with... oh, no, it isn't. Oh, sorry, I think it was just after the news.
You can
You still
say-
tell them.
Made a complete fool of
You can
myself.
tell them who you
No,
were.
I can't. I'm too embarrassed.
With Alan Cochrane and Emily Dean. I'll
You just want another name check?
Not at all.
You're egomaniac.
No, you started it.
I started it, but I didn't finish.
Yeah, I'll finish it.
I won't let Magnus...
finish you. He just threatened you, physically.
That was a
I said I'll
physical
finish
threat.
it.
Oh, it's the I'll finish
It was
you.
deliberately vague. It could mean
Now-
the sentence before it.
Never mind this. We were talking about basically how I've still got it. Because
Well, we don't
the
know that. We've only got your word for that. We know
Yeah,
you dance.
I did dance,
There might
and
be
it was quite
sniggering
a sight.
teenagers in every cranny.
Well, this is true. There might have been. Thank you for bringing that up. But no, I did. You're right. I did feel during some of the Beyonce. I felt, I wish I had one of those little camping stools, just for a little sit down.
See, things are too. Sometimes as well, when you know the DJs, they do this little trick where they'll join two songs together,
Mixing.
Mashing it up.
Mixing.
and then you're trapped. You think 3.5 minutes I can do this. Oh my god, I'm in the middle of another one. Also, it's the most embarrassing thing. I would rather excrete
Oh,
on the central reservation of the A40
again.
outside the Hoover building.
I was going to say, not for the first time.
Outside the Hoover
Location
building
might
would
have
be a
been
handy
different.
place for it.
I would rather. I'd
further-
find that less embarrassing than dancing in a just going somewhere and getting on a dance floor and dancing. I find it
Really?
the most excruciating.
No, I understand. I understand that.
I mean,
You're meant to dance like no one's watching, aren't you?
well, but people, yeah, that's what they say. But if I dance at home alone,
No.
I'm still crippled with embarrassment.
Oh, really?
You can't dance like no one's what. That won't work in a lap dancing club.
Well,
Yeah. I don't think they're meant to dance like no one's watching.
yeah. They're supposed to dance like no one's washing. I guess, though, that you dance ironically. Am I right?
I've been known at times.
Yeah, I imagine you dancing ironically to music for which you have little or no respect. That's what I'm talking about. And that's a different kind of thing.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
you'll
I'm on
let me
about
off.
people that get up and
Get
just
into it.
talking about it makes me feel
What
poorly.
about the cockerel, Frank?
Do you dance?
Yes,
Alan?
I'll chuck some shapes if the
You're
mood takes
kidding
me.
me. I'm
Oh.
embarrassed on your behalf.
Oh, that's mean. Body fascism, that's...
No, it's just I can't. No, the thought of you
For the
dancing.
listener, I'm a lanky man, so when I dance, it isn't dissimilar to the phase when Peter Crouch used to score a goal and do his robot thing.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh, yes, I can see that, Frank.
and that's
no.
a shame. But I will that, and I'll tell
I
you
see
something.
you doing a bit. Are you a bit science teacher kicking a football? Little action, I can see that.
I think it, like, you know, the Tin Man
prefer
from
to
Wizard
think-
of Oz. I see it like the Tin Man dancing
I
with
prefer
Dorothy.
to think I'm more like early Timberlake.
Yeah.
I'm looking you in the... I'm totally serious now. I think I've got moves.
Do you really? Do you actually think you can dance?
I think
No, I
you do.
think
No,
I'm
he
right.
does
But-
think that, Frank.
No, you
No,
don't.
no, I-
Don't tell me you think you're all right.
I do think I'm all right. I don't think I'm terrible.
I think you're awful, and I've never seen you dance. But I can tell from the core of your being. Men can't dance.
That's mean.
No.
Men
The last
can't
time I
dance.
danced was actually at a garden party, and the garden was sloping.
Oh, that was inappropriate.
It was quite difficult.
Dance in a garden.
No, it's quite difficult because of the slope. So, like, if you...
Sloping garden. What is it?
Sloping garden.
Horse trials.
Was
my
it the
friend had
Olympic
a-
opening ceremony
My
last
friend
night?
had a sort of a wedding marquee in a big sloping garden, but it was quite difficult because either you danced sort of facing down the hill, so it was a bit of a thigh workout, or you danced facing up the hill and it was like a calf workout.
Oh,
it was
no,
very
I
difficult.
I will not dance on an incline.
And some people at the party were higher than others.
But, you know, that's the way
'Cause
it
it
is.
was, it was a hill.
It was almost like if all the pieces on Mr. Spock's three-dimensional chessboard started dancing.
What?
Well, then some would be at a higher level than...
Yeah.
Help me out.
I don't know what you're on about.
How-
This three-dimensional chessboard.
You're on your own there,
You know
boys.
Mr. Spock's 3D chessboard,
No,
surely?
I don't.
You don't know that?
No.
Maybe it's time I stopped doing this show.
God.
Oh, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. What about this?
Oh, yeah.
What about this? Email corner. Hey!
Not enough sitar in the world, is there? There is now.
Not enough Qatar in the world, I've always thought.
Are they in the Olympics?
No,
Qatar?
I meant that nasal blockage.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Oh, there's
That's
plenty
one
of
out.
Qatar in the world.
Oh, Qatar.
Yeah, plenty of that. God, I've already got the World Cup.
We've had an email. Hi, Frank, the beautiful Emily, the cockerel et al.
Oh, no, that was directed at you.
Et al.
Yeah.
That's what people call me
Yeah,
sometimes.
et al.
I thought it was about that incident you had with Al Murray.
I wanted to know what your opinion was on holding the door open protocol. I often find myself following someone through multiple sets of doors, one after the other, and thanking them each time the door is held open. Do you think, like I do, that the thanks should be saved for the last door in the line being held as a combined thanks, or do you think that thanks should be given for every door held, to my continuous annoyance, which is what I do? If Emily ever fancies a night out in breakfast...
Whoa,
a night out...
whoa!
Oh, that's what he's done.
Hey, whoa!
You know what this person's done? They've smuggled in a sort of sneaky little bit of laddiness by prefacing it with a, like, yeah, I'm super polite, I'm really nice.
Yeah.
And if Emily ever fancies a night out and breakfast in Edinburgh, just give me a call.
Blimey.
What's his name?
Well,
And breakfast, a bit rude.
it says Callum Hay 21. I
Get
don't know.
in. 21,
Yeah.
Frank.
21, he probably can't even
21
make a good
today.
breakfast yet.
21.
I don't think
mate.
he'll be making the breakfast.
No, can I just not eat the breakfast?
Well, you don't have to have carbs.
No, that's
21.
what I'm
Well, 21, it's going to be carbs, isn't it? It'll be toast. That's all.
I'm sorry, I could work through the age gap. It would be like, we could work through the lack of shared references, Frank.
Yeah, but it was 1 minute we was walking through a corridor, the next minute was asking someone out for breakfast.
Well, that's how things happen, isn't
It's what I'm calling a knight's move.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You two alright? You two okay? I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's gone on.
Sorry, the telly's on mute in the corner, and they just had that. You know when Michael Parkinson advertised his death?
Oh, yeah.
And they had that on.
The over 50s.
Yeah. And you get a free pen just for inquiring.
Yes.
He won't hold it up anymore, by the way.
It's
in his
just
contract
floating.
now.
It's really creepy.
Yeah, they have to put it in a sort of a animated thing next to it. He won't do pen anymore. And Emily pointed out that to inquire, you text pen, P-E-N. That's what you have to text, which I thought was very, very funny.
That.
I'm sorry that people at home thinking, what's funny about that?
Yeah.
You've probably been thinking
they're
about
having
that.
more fun during the songs than
Never
they are
mind
during
that.
the show.
What about Callum Hay, 21?
Doing their best work in the gym, these guys.
Yeah, let's not forget that Callum Hay did make a genuine inquiry
Yes.
before he tried to.
About holding doors open and the thank you. I feel his pain because I sometimes get into a repeated thank you groove with waiting staff when I eat out, which happens quite a lot because I work around the place, but especially last week in Canada, because they're super polite, aren't they? So when they put you a glass of water down...
Last week in Canada?
That's where I've been. That's
Slip
where
that
I've been. I've been to Montreal.
It's kind of a spoiler alert movie
They put
titles.
a glass of water down, and I say thank you, and they go, you're welcome. And then they put the cutlery down, I go, thank you, you're welcome. And so we can have 25 thank you and you're welcomes in a row. So
No, I know what you mean.
maybe he's right. We need one at the end, and that's it.
Well, when I walk through a series of doors like that, I like to vary it a bit. So if someone's opening for me, I go, oh, thank you very much. Cheers. Lovely. By the end, I'm going, oh. It's enough. You know what I mean?
I hope I'm not on the receiving end of that one.
Oh, I don't want to be
Well,
on the
I don't want people... If anyone listening, I don't want people holding the doors open for me. Unless they're right just ahead of me. I hate that moment when you're halfway down a corridor.
Yes.
Someone stops and I feel I have to scurry
Yes.
to get to the
like
door.
like some gutter rat.
Yeah, you have to hurry up for them, and I don't want that.
Frank,
But then
can we
again,
just,
if it's a
can
big
we
heavy
fess up
door,
here?
you don't want to arrive at it when it's got momentum as it's
Well,
swinging back, do you?
I believe in
I'll risk
honesty in email corner.
Yeah.
And can we fess up here? I do sometimes pretend I haven't seen people because I just don't want to hold the door
Yeah,
open.
I think that's fine.
I do that in lifts as well, just FYI.
What I do is, well, if I do hold the door open for someone and they don't say thank you, I always say, don't mention it. Oh, you didn't. Yeah,
Oh my
I had
God.
quite a difficult conversation with a man in our flats about that because we got into the lift together and I was still fuming. And I must have told you this when he said I'm not used to people giving me tips on manners.
Did he?
And I said, I'm not giving you tips, I'm giving you detailed instruction. If someone opens the door, you say thank you.
Oh my God.
You got, you know.
And that man was John Prescott.
No, but the thing was, he wasn't like he was some, he didn't have a devil dog with him. He was like a well-dressed,
small-
middle-class man.
Small place for fisticuffs, though, isn't it? An elevator. That would make it quite compact.
What happens when we get to his floor? Which obviously is below mine because I'm on the penthouse. I mean, what would we have done then?
So you won.
So do I have to step out and fight on his floor? Why should I? He can come to me. Anyway.
He knows where you live.
He does know where I live.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're in the very midst of... wait for it. Wait for it. It's a work of art.
I've got the email here. The email sounds like we only had one. No, we had more. Hello all, just wanted to let Frank know that his corduroy shoe joke, which is from last week, they dry, made me laugh out loud on the train. You did say at the time that it was for a demographic of about 4 people.
Yes, it was... I was talking about that. There was a summer where everyone wore corduroy shoes, certainly in the West Midlands. And people used to say don't wear them when they're raining because they core dry, which you didn't get, Em.
No.
Core in the West Midlands means can't.
Oh, they can't dry. They're core dry.
They're core dry.
Anyway,
okay.
Danny from Birmingham, I found the joke so funny that as soon as I got home, I called my granddad, who is basically a stereotype of an old bloke from West Brom,
How dare
and
you.
told him,
I like to think, is it me?
even giving the joke some context by telling that I'd just bought a pair and was hoping that it didn't start raining again. He laughed, but I don't think that he was 100% sure what corduroy is. I'm originally from Tipton, so I'm part of the key demographic.
Horse in the front garden.
That joke was aimed at, and look forward to more black country slang themed puns in the future. Now, here's the thing. Also, Emily, on the off chance you're ever in Birmingham, drop me a line and we can go for a drink.
Yes!
You're a stunningly beautiful woman, and I'd like to get to know you, from Danny in Birmingham.
Yes.
What's going
2 out of 2.
2 out of 2,
Look
100%.
at that rate.
What
Eat
is
that.
You can't go out with someone from Tipton.
And he's not even offered you
what?
breakfast.
Oh, no, that's true.
He might offer you orange chips.
Yeah, but I've been asked out by a Birmingham, and that's a good day for me.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
You might get cow pie, actually. I think
But
that
he
still
doesn't have a
exists.
surname. What do I just turn up at Birmingham
They don't have-
Station
they don't
and
have
I say, is
surnames,
Danny
yeah.
around?
They don't have surnames in Tipton. No, yeah, there used to be a place, I don't know if it's still there actually, called Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factory, where I used to do my first ever gigs.
In Tipton. Can you see me in Tipton, Frank?
Um,
Lady of the Manor.
only looking out of a tank if it was being cleared out to build up some luxury homes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the
So
horse
when-
in the front garden was because everyone seemed to be a rag and bone man in
lovely.
Tipton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I get the joke
How long
now,
ago
and I
was that?
appreciate it.
How long ago was it that they were all rag and bone?
80s.
1880s.
Yeah, but they used to sell these cow pies at Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factory. You know the old Desperate Dam cow
Oh,
pie?
that
They had the
sounds
horns
good.
sticking out the top.
No way.
But they used to have pastry horns, which
Oh.
looked, to be honest, look more like inverted commas. I don't like my I don't like my food in brackets.
Yeah, ironic.
But yeah, so it's a sort of a punctuation pie, which is lovely. Certainly did something to my colon.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Hi, it's Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215, or you can follow us on, you guessed it, Twitter, using @Frank on Absolute. This is Absolute Radio, and we are loving the Olympics because all our sponsors know that this is a great move for this fabulous country. Listen to this station and buy stuff.
What a difference 2 hours has made.
Yes.
I felt it's about time I joined in a bit with
Yeah,
you.
that coffee
Yeah.
you had's kicked in, hasn't it?
He found out Danny Ball's going to get a knighthood as well.
And that's
Yeah.
given him a bit of pep and vigour.
Giving him some verve.
Yeah, hasn't
Well, I
it?
don't mind him. He should have got one for
Train spot.
Slumdog Millionaire, which is brilliant. Train Spot, I won't have any truck with.
I don't have
book.
any truck with.
Love the book.
Yeah, I don't, let's encourage people to take drugs.
It's not encouraging.
Encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's a misleading film title, isn't it? Train Spotting.
I know, I was so
I'd forgotten that.
disappointed.
I went there with a notebook. What did I get? Sex and drugs. And Scots. No hint of any of those in the title.
On the subject of Scotland, this is going to sound weird. On the subject of Scotland, I've been booked to go to Japan later this year for some shows.
Have you?
There's a...
What sort of show? You do kabuki on the choir?
That's right, yeah.
Kabuki on the choir, I
What's
think.
what's
Come on.
kabuki?
It's a form of Japanese,
Well, it's Japanese
theatre.
theatre, yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Hold
I
on a
was
minute.
thinking it was
I
some
didn't
kind of
know.
weird martial
When you
art.
say
or
it's
something.
right, I wasn't looking for confirmation. I was helping you out in your ignorance.
I was trying to remember what it was. I
okay.
couldn't remember if it was like
Very
a martial art
exaggerated
or
makeup,
paper
darling,
folding.
they
That's
were.
right, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, that's right. Yes,
I
correct.
suppose you thought it was that the camel from the Arabian Nights cartoon that used to be on in the 70s. Did you not think that?
Anyway, the
After
Japanese...
Japan. I don't really like Japan.
The Japanese... Have you been?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I'm quite excited
loved
about
it.
Tokyo.
I know everyone does. I don't dislike it, but it's just a lot of technology
You've got to
shops.
let that Pearl Harbor thing go.
I don't. how many bits of technology can I buy?
Yeah.
That's all it is. Anyway,
I'm not really very technological, so I don't know about that.
You won't like it then.
I'll enjoy some sake, maybe, I think. Anyway.
I always enjoy that.
They've got, the Japanese have got a book out that's a tour guide to Scotland, which sounds immediately promising and fun.
Yeah.
It warns Japanese visitors to never call kilts skirts, and it's written in Japanese. It says to make sure they go on a pub crawl and get merrily drunk on Scottish whiskey, but it's less than positive about Scotland's service sector, warning, please do not expect to have the same quick, polite and accurate service here to compare with Japanese service at shops, restaurants and hotels. Be patient anywhere in Scotland. It is not Japan.
I'll bear that in mind when I go down to see Callum 21.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, to be fair, I don't think there's anywhere on the planet that's as polite and efficient as Japan.
Yeah, and there's nowhere quite like Scotland.
There's nowhere quite like Scotland.
It says avoid flat sausage, which I think is a shame, because that's one of the things I love about Scotland.
Oh, me too.
Flat sausage.
I love the flat sausage.
And avoid people wearing football shirts. I wish someone had told me that when I was 23, but that's another story.
Yes. I'll tell you something brilliant about the flat sausage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because, in case you don't know, in case you've never been to Scotland, the flat sausage is, it's square.
Yeah.
And flat
instead
of tubular.
Like a patty?
Yeah, it looks like it could be a tile or a coaster.
Do you know, I've never seen one.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No.
You could use it as a coaster if you don't have a problem with processed pork directly against a varnish surface. But the great thing about it is when you put the ketchup on, is that on a tubular sausage, the ketchup can barely hold on.
There's no purchase, Frank.
No, it can't.
There's no purchase.
It's tubular. Give it a chance. It's like a sort of sausage rodeo for the ketchup. It's sliding down the side. Yes, once you start cutting and moving the sausages about, it just slides off onto the. Whereas it's like a plinth, the square sausage.
It's caked in it.
It's like a mattress.
It's perfect.
Just lying down on top. There's tomato sauce having a lie down on the sausage.
It's calling for relish. Yeah. It is. So I love that. I actually read this story. One of the brilliant things is they warn you against that Scottish food and how unhealthy it is. And a bloke from Visit Scotland, which is what would have been called the Scottish Tourist Board, said he thought the remarks about the food should be taken with a pinch of salt.
How very
and about half a pound of lard.
Iron brew.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
The place I grew up in, which is called Mirfield in West Yorkshire, I believe was in one of those, the Towns books. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word before that, am I? Anyway, when they were quite rude about various places in the country.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And apparently it was described as the river running through it was described as a wee running through the bit of the Calder. It's not a very cool place.
No.
There's only really me and Patrick Stewart.
That's not bad, is it?
Jean-Luc Picard.
Good. Yeah.
You and Patrick Stewart?
Yeah. And maybe somebody from there will text in saying, no, there's three of us. And my mate Dave, there's other people. No,
I was going to say that a bit. Morning, Patrick. Who's doing the shop? Are you doing the shop, or is it me? No, it's your turn to do the shop. Okay, Patrick. Shall I wear the wig or be bald? No.
Does he wear a wig sometimes?
Be bald
for
today.
films.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got him to wear a curly wig once when I interviewed.
Did you?
Patrick Stewart.
Work with them all. He's
Oh,
worked
he
with them
really
all.
has.
Worked with them all. I was born in West Bromwich and
Lovely.
in the West Midlands, and in a place called Alun Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And my mum, I remember my mum telling me that when she was in bed, like with me in the hospital, that cockroaches used to drop off the ceiling onto the bed.
No.
And in later life, when she told me that, I remember saying, it excites me that I was born somewhere so Kafkaesque.
Yes.
And I think I alienated my whole family.
With the Kafkaesque.
Did that not play very well?
You can be too clever. Do you remember that? You remember Keith Waterhouse used to write in the Mirror? He said that when he went to university, he came back on his first holiday, and his dad said, I see there's a sale of lingerie. And he said, actually, it's lingerie. And his dad never spoke to him again.
No.
Yeah, so be careful, you working class people out there getting educated. Just pretend. That's my advice.
Yeah.
I'm
the only success story from my hometown as well.
Well, you're from London.
London, yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a high bar, that's all I'm saying.
The population should have just tried harder, like you have.
One of the things is that being able to sum up where you live in a sentence. So, if anyone can do that, and any of our listeners, I'd love to know, because that's a great way. If you're going to go around Britain, wouldn't it be great to have a little collection everywhere summed up in a sentence?
Apparently, people say of the bit of Manchester that I now live in, they say caviar and chips. It's both.
That's how it's described.
Yeah, it's caviar and chips.
I just do mine in 2 words. I just say London Natch. That's what I say.
Well, I must have told you this stuff. I did a gig in Bournemouth, and there's a bloke in the front row. I said, "What's Bournemouth like?" And I can't give you his response because he was so negative and had so much swearing in it. And I said, "Why don't you live somewhere else?" And he said, "Well, my house is here." Said everything we needed to know about the locals, I thought.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
You know what? I sometimes feel that to live without my music would be impossible to do. Music is my first love, and it will be my last. Everybody! Music of the future! Come on.
I so wish the opening ceremony last night started with that.
Yeah. Me going, music of the
I would have actually paid a grand for that. Yeah.
A grand. You drop a grand on that.
Yes. We were talking about hometowns, Frank, earlier. Yours is
Well, I grew up in
somewhere.
Murfield.
Yours is Birmingham, and mine's London.
Yeah.
But we've had a tweet in from Johnny McCartney. Alan, did you ever go to Whibbits in Murfield? Nice chippy.
Yes.
I grew up in Norristhorpe, by the way.
What he means there is...
Norristhorpe is what he's done. He's over-northerned the pudding. Norristhorpe must be a fictional northern
There are
town.
places like that. But Whibbits, I think, is named because, you know, when you buy chips and... Did you used to buy... Like scraps, you know,
Yeah.
like some people call it fat scraps, don't they? And some people call it bits. In Yorkshire, it's just called bits.
Yeah.
So
I don't
when
know
they say
what
Whibbits,
you're talking about.
you'd buy a bag of chips with bits.
Yeah.
Do you?
You can.
I can't
wouldn't
remember
now.
what we called those, but sometimes you'd get one that was just a bubble filled with fat. It was like a lava lamp. A lava lamp for people who wanted to die of a heart attack.
Yeah, but yes, I have had chips from Whibbits and from other fisheries.
Have you?
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm not bragging.
I love that story.
Yeah.
Fisheries? What you mean, like Roger Daltrey's trout farm?
Almost as soon as we'd said try and sum up your town, we had a text saying Broken Britain from Dave in Stockton-on-Tees.
Well, there you go. That should be the welcoming sign on the way in.
That'd be good. Twinned with where, though?
Twinned with is usually places you've never heard of.
Yeah.
You can make one up.
It's a shame.
No.
Crackling. Someone's saying they call it crackling, presumably instead of bits.
What, the bits?
I think
okay.
we might have called them scratchings, which is something completely different.
We never ate them,
you'd think,
okay?
wouldn't
Obviously you didn't eat them.
No.
Can you imagine if you turned up at In Style magazine
you? Just with a bag of
with some
scraps.
encased globules of hot fat to eat?
Anyone
do you
got any
think would-
Whibbits?
Which would you think would go
Anyone got
down
any
worse?
They're not Whibbits. Do you want it with bits?
Oh, I see.
It's a
oh,
block of
I've had
stock.
an IM. I
No.
get it.
Yeah.
So it's with bits.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I explained that really
I
clearly.
still didn't understand it.
That was why I was explaining
Oh,
it
I'm
to you.
sorry.
Explained a lot of regional stuff today.
Haven't we?
I shall at the end of this next song, I think I'm going to set... What about if I set up a West Midlands joke?
Okay.
Yes.
And then do the punchline after this?
Nice.
Okay. So, brace yourselves. This is... the joke is, Why does the Queen have so many children?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we were talking about the joke, which is the West Midlands joke.
I think that's the punchline of it.
Oh, hold on, I didn't bother putting your mic on. Didn't seem worth it.
I did think I sounded a bit quiet.
Oh my God.
What did you say?
People might think that's the punchline of the joke.
No, the
Michael
punchline-
Parkinson's son.
The feed line. This is a West Midland. You have to come from the West Midlands. I think, to
Okay,
get
I
this.
know. I think I'll get it.
Okay. So the feed line is, why does the Queen have so many children? And the answer is because she's got ER on her knickers.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah. As in, here you are.
ER, like Albin Yar.
ER.
Like Albin Yar, you say ER.
ER, as in Elizabeth.
As it happens, your brother Keith has just texted in saying...
Was it the answer?
Oh, I love Keith.
No, we called bits batters.
Maybe we did call them batters.
Batters.
Yeah, you're right, our Keith.
Lots of people have texted in with what they called
I like
bits.
the way Keith's put it in the past tense, like he doesn't go to those places anymore. My eye. Thanks for that, though, Keith.
Melissa from Sunderland always asked for chips with extra batter, coming from high authority with a part-time job in a chippy, aged 16 and a half.
My mum used to work in a chippy. When she used to get back, she used to bring like 5 fish, 3
Oh, you must have looked forward to that. I would have loved that.
Whereas when she worked in the cake
I would
shop,
have, though. Fish and chips coming home direct to you like that.
when
Yeah.
she worked in the cake place at Scribbens's, she,
Oh, I remember that.
it was like Russian roulette with confectionery, because some nights you'd get icing, which would be
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. Some nights you got marzipan. Forget about it.
Yeah.
That was a bad night, a marzipan night. Frank,
Yes?
I know we're not technically in email corner, but am I still allowed to read out an email?
Oh, God, we can see email call.
We
We're in
could
the
sashay
same.
into it.
We're in the same postcode.
Okay.
We could dance into it. Moonwalk into
Okay.
email corner.
So this is from Stuart in Spain, and he's actually talking about idiotic eureka moments, which we
yeah.
regularly discuss on the show.
Yeah, it's when it takes you a long time to get something, basically.
He says, Dear FEA, I had an idiotic eureka moment today when I realised that Madonna's greatest hits, The Immaculate Collection, was a play on words on Madonna and the Immaculate Conception. Her marketing people should really be rewarded for that fantastic play on words.
Yeah, I
Love the show, Stuart in Spain.
I think our marketing people probably are rewarded.
I suspect they're shouted at a lot.
Oh, yeah, but I bet they are rewarded for it. They won't be volunteers, Madonna's
Yeah.
mark. But yes, that has taken him a while to work that out.
That really has.
I'm with him. It's only since
You
we
hadn't
got
worked
that
it
that
out?
I hadn't seen that. No.
You see, I had one this week.
Did you? What did you have?
I was watching Alun Partridge on Sky, and obviously his programme was called Knowing Me, Knowing You. But you know when he goes, ha ha, I didn't
Don't tell me you
realise.
didn't know it was the ABBA thing.
I didn't know it was the ABBA.
Why did you think he was saying it?
I had no idea. I think he just said it. That was his thing. Yeah, I completely had no idea. And that's Alan Partridge, one of the great, iconic, etc. So, that's me. That's me summed up.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what people ought to know. I've decided to stop doing favours. I did some favours recently. In
Now you
fact,
tell me.
I've done some favours, and I've been the recipient of an amazing favour that
Really?
I'll tell you about in a moment.
I've often been the recipient of amazing favours, but you carry on.
Have you? Well,
We'll just get to it.
It's
I'm
blown my
excited.
mind.
I'm excited about this.
I did a couple of gigs for people as favour. My mate twisted my arm. I did a gig in a school in the Lake District on a kids sort of show.
4 kids.
Well,
Was it the
children
Olympic
and
opening
parents.
ceremony?
It was the Olympic opening ceremony. Yeah.
It was a kid's show.
No, it was a school. He's a school teacher.
But the kid it was a show for the...
The children were doing like a comedy review show.
Oh, are you sure? It wasn't the nativity. There's no nativity
There's no
element.
nativite element.
It's like they knock on the inn door
I know
and
you'd
you
love
come
there
out
to
and
be a
say-
biblical aspect to everything, but there isn't.
Oh, Rob, bring that up.
you that brought the nativity up. I mentioned school.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the look on his face. Right, go on.
I don't know why atheists bother doing favours at all.
Because
What's in it for them?
Because I'm nice. Just because I'm nice.
Exactly.
Well, you're complaining about it.
I also did a favour for my brother, which ended up with me performing in a conservatory in front of people. I mean, why? Why did I do that?
I don't really know what a conservatory is. Is it like a greenhouse?
Yeah, it was like a green... And I don't know about
bolt-on.
your stand-up career, but I don't think foliage has ever helped mine. That's a new rule, I think, or it should be.
Maybe you're right, actually.
Anyway.
I think when I did the Sylvanian Families tour...
Did you?
No. Oh, I loved that. That was a bit blue, that, I thought.
Well, yeah, no, it was for the context.
Yeah.
Carry on, so... I want to know about this big favour, but keep going.
The one that I received?
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I don't.
I'll tell you that next.
It's making me feel a bit queasy.
Here's what happened.
It's going to be brilliant. I've got a good feeling about it.
As you know, I've just been both to and from Montreal.
Yes.
It was just booked in normal flights by them. I bumped into a friend who's a comic who tours Canada a lot, and he said to me, I'll have a look and see if I can use my points to get you an upgrade.
Ooh.
Lovely.
He got me upgraded to business class there and back, using his points.
No greater
Lovely.
gift asked any man than to lay down his points.
As they say. But brilliant.
Is that an upgrade business?
The great thing about it was that his business class an upgrade from standard. Yeah,
Isn't that good?
It's just how your normal life is. I appreciate that, but for me, this is a big
Do
wush
you know
up.
about standard?
You know, I got free school dinners. I got free school dinners, and now I'm in business class. This is an enormous representation of change for me.
Emily thought the first 3/4 of a plane was just engine. No, that's a very nice thing to do.
And the brilliant thing for him, I think...
The insincerity that made me feel a bit queasy.
It didn't cost him any money, I don't think. He's assured me again and again it didn't cost me any money, it just cost me a load of points, which I've got anyway. And I think it probably cost him about half an hour of his time. Isn't that a great favour, though?
It is lovely. And the great thing about that is that you didn't ask, he just offered.
He just did it.
Yeah.
And that's what's brilliant. So I don't mind. I'll do a favour if it's my idea.
Yes, I agree.
I don't want to be asked. Someone asked me to do them a favour. I'm already thinking, how much do I value this friendship out of 100?
I'm frank, they always ask, and they don't say, can you do me a favour? No, not sight unseen. They never tell you what it is.
Well, that's all right. I always say no at that stage.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I don't like a favour. I don't enjoy doing it.
No.
And I don't need any. There you go.
You know, you did your corduroys joke. We've had an email in that is a similar Brummie accent joke, and I might even have a go at the accent within it.
Have a try.
Would you be pleased by that? 2 Brummies in a hospice. One says to the other, "Did you come here to die?" "No," says the other, "I came here yesterday."
It's good. It's good.
It's not bad.
It's good. It's like a bloke from Birmingham goes into a gentleman's outfitters and said, "I'd like a kipper tie," and he says, "Do you want sugar?" So we were talking about earlier. We were talking about idiotic eureka moments.
Oh yeah.
And I admitted my ha-ha. Again, I had no...
Yes.
Didn't associate
Unbelievable.
at all.
So, well, we've actually had another one in.
But I was also, can I say, I was at
Go
a
on.
test match.
Oh, yeah.
At the Oval.
Lovely.
And I had one of those little earpieces you can have at the test match, which so you get commentary, Sky commentary, while you're watching. And they said, so he's coming in from the Vauxhall end. And I thought, of course Vauxhall's over there.
Well, why did you think it was called that?
No idea why it was called that. That's Vauxhall, yeah. Anyway.
Mind you, that's sort of... Sometimes football grounds have the something end and the other end, and you don't know why. It just could have been named.
Well, you can work it out, like the clock end. You can sort of work that one out.
The clock end, yeah.
So, Joe...
Home base, they've got it. Reading's ground, they've got home base at one end.
No, that's DIY stuff, love.
But they should have a away base at the other end. They don't.
Have we got time for a quick email corner?
Have we, Daisy?
Yes.
Okay.
Daisy said yes, our producer.
Okay, let's whiz through it. This is from Joe. Hi, Mr. Radio, Alun with a U and MLE. I love the show and the top quality puns. I'm not sure if this qualifies as an IEM, but whilst going through Dublin airport security a few years ago, my girlfriend, who's quite an educated lady, stopped dead in her tracks at the sight of a pretty unremarkable fish tank and duty-free. Once I deciphered her frantic babblings, it transpired that not only had she never seen a live seahorse, but that she'd spent her whole life believing them to be fictional, hence the unicorn. That's from Joe.
They are quite a shocking creature, though, if you're not expecting it.
They give me the creeps, actually.
What worries me about them is that old adage, you can lead a horse to water. But you can't, of course, with a seahorse.
No.
You can drag it at best. No, but it is a strange... I like that, though. The idea that she didn't know they existed is beautiful.
It was quite a moment for her.
He must have loved her a little bit more then, thinking, look at
But, you know,
flesh.
they're called a seahorse. The river horse, which you think could be of a similar thing. Do you know what the river horse is?
No, what's
the
the river
hippopotamus.
Is it really?
Yeah. Not terribly similar as
No.
creatures go.
No.
The clothes horse, nowhere near. Anyway, I thought we'd end on something equine.
Yeah.
And it says next adverts, but I don't think I'm supposed to read that out. I think that's just a note for me. Nevertheless, there it is. It's out there. So I'm off to the Cambridge Folk Festival.
I'm off to Edinburgh. No, I'm not really.
Clanad are on tonight.
Are they?
Clanad, Roy Harper, Proclaimers, and best of all, the On Thank Sisters with Brighouse and Rastrick Band. Can you imagine it? Nevertheless, so if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. And I can safely say on behalf of all three of us that we love you all. Take care and enjoy the Olympics, because whatever you thought of the opening ceremony, the sport's going to be sensational.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.